And woo, we are running 5 minutes late, only 5 minutes late. But brothers and sisters, it's time. It's time for the keynote speaker. This sister should not be introduced. She's been on the platform several times. She's run a very successful course with us on the Hidden Truth platform. This is a sister that we love. Her wisdom, her love, and her heart is incomparable. I'm letting you know now, very soon, in the next few months, we will be running a Hidden Truth course with this sister. On this platform, there's going to be a course. We couldn't do it right now because of so many events that we've launched and new parts that we haven't even mentioned to you yet. Hidden Truth is growing fast behind the scenes. But this sister is going to be one of the first sisters we're going to do a course with after the new look to Hidden Truth. We're approaching nearly 350 of you on laptops. I can't imagine what the count is properly. But now we're moving over to Chicago, and we've got one of the greatest minds, one of the greatest medics in the whole of the United States, Sister Dr. Elaine Ferguson. Brothers and sisters, make some damn noise. In fact, stand on your feet. Royalties amongst us. Stand on your damn feet, man. Come on, sis, Dr. Elaine. How you doing, my queen?
Wakanda forever. Hey, Brother Andrew. Hello, Sister Jarita. I'm home, so whenever I'm home, and Sister Samira, bless your heart for feeling better, it is always just a privilege and an honor and a joy to be in the presence of my family. I see Brother Jamie as well. I just want to say thank you again, Brother Andrew, for everything that you do, and not only for what you do, but for the way that you do it, and the passion, the love, and the compassion and empathy that you do all of your work with to uplift your people, our people, your local family and your international family. I always have to shout out to Brother Philippe, Reverend Dr. Shock, for putting us together over a year ago. It seems like just yesterday, but it's been a wonderful experience and journey, and just I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all the beautiful sisters and brothers who I have met through this connection, through our Healing Circle course, and those who continue along their journey with me, from Brother Jamie to Sister Alice, Sister Daisy, Sister Beverly, Sister Diane, and others. It's just a privilege. And I want to say to Brother Tarun, we are on the same wavelength.
Woo!
This is how the divine works. Probably 80% of what you shared, I had planned to share, so thank you. I don't have to share. It's a beautiful thing. It is how we see the one divine mind functioning and moving through all of us together in its most beautiful and magnificent of ways. So thank you, Brother Andrew. And one of the things that my heart called me to do today is to take a moment to fully acknowledge and support Brother Andrew's health and well-being, because I stay on him behind the scenes and I tell him, so I'm gonna say it publicly, I want to take a moment and ask all of the sisters and brothers on this call, as well as those who hear this recording, to send Brother Andrew love, light, vitality, appreciation, gratitude, and acceptance, because I know this brother is running on all cylinders. And I have personally made it my mission to help him stay here in this body, because he is such a gift to us. But we have to acknowledge that each and every one of us needs to take better care of ourselves and to especially support those who have taken the mantle of helping our family to heal. This is no easy task, and it's not getting easier. It's getting more difficult because of the transformation that's now ongoing on this earth. And I have seen many, many, many dear friends and loved ones leave in the last 3 years.
Yes.
And we don't have to leave prematurely if we take care of ourselves and if we get the rest and the restoration and listen. So I know Brother Andrew doesn't always listen because he's always listening to take care of everybody. And he is on the bottom of his self-care list because his self is his family. And that's all of us. And I want you, my dear beloved brother, to fulfill your mission with good health and vibrant well-being. And I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. Don't get me wrong. I just want to acknowledge you because you don't take care of yourself as much as you take care of us. So I just wanted to say that publicly as I begin this this latest in our chapter of sharing and exploring together.
And can I just say to you, sister, can I say publicly to you an apology, public apology, because we did arrange and plan for us to do some work together, you know, within the next month or two. And I have to apologize to you, sister, live on air, because we've had to postpone it again. And what I've noticed when I informed you of that, sister, your heart was so beautiful, and it made me just feel like a dotty little dog, because you know, Brother Too, you know, when you got such beautiful people, you know, it's a crime to upset them in any way. And so,
absolutely.
I thank you for your patience with me, sister, and I thank you for your understanding. So I bow to you, my queen. I bow to you.
Well, it is my pleasure and it's my honor. And this is, since you publicly shared, and thank you, this is an example of how we love each other. We all have challenges in our lives and things happen expectedly and unexpectedly. And the bottom line for me is that I am compelled and guided to support you no matter what happens. And I wasn't offended. I was disappointed with the delay, no question, but I understood. And that's why I responded the way I did. This is what healing is. This is what family does. This is what true love looks like for us. It's the acceptance, the unconditional love and acceptance, as Brother Tarun mentioned. Yes. This is the time, for such a time as this, we are here. We are here to express the beauty, the uniqueness, and the nature of who we are as the antidote to things falling apart, as the antidote to the madness of this world that has been expressed for the last 6,000 years as a part of a cycle of the great cosmos that we don't fully understand in these bodies. But we know historically that this time that we're facing, that we're living with, is a time of great transformation. It's a time of great change. Absolutely. And it's a time of great uncertainty. It's a time of fear. It's a time of extended and extensive trauma that we've all experienced for the last 3 years in particular, added on top of our sojourn here as African people. So that's why the idea was given to me, the dispensation of focusing on as things fall apart, and how we can, as a family, as a people, as a global consciousness, take better care of ourselves in this moment.
Yes.
Not only to take care of ourselves, but to be a beacon of light and of support and of upliftment and inspiration to those around us. Because if you're on this call, and if you're listening, or if you're listening to this recording, you are called to this time. And you know you've been called. You wouldn't be here wasting your time if you didn't know you had a calling. You may not be clear on what that calling is, but you know the calling is related to your core essence as an African being in this time. So I would like to begin my presentation.
All yours. If you want to share your screen, let us know that it's okay.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen. So let me pull up my presentation. And for some reason, my presentation isn't doing it. So hold on just a minute.
No worries. Brothers and sisters,
let me pull it up.
Brothers and sisters, get ready for a blinding amazing moment in your life right now. Dr. Elaine Ferguson, MD, is going to be sharing her wisdom, her love, and her insight. Sister Doctor, I'm going to turn my camera off. It's all yours, my queen.
Okay, my brother, thank you so much again. And let me begin with this beautiful collage and design. I think Brother Andrew did it. Did you do this? Because I was so taken by it. I had to include it in this presentation because it speaks to this time and to where we are. But it also speaks, and if you look at the center, it speaks to our spiritual, physical, divine essence. That diagram of those lights speaks to the ancient knowledge that our ancestors held and contemporary Africans hold, as well as other people across this world hold, who know the truth. So as we look at these other photographs of people taking care of themselves, I want you to think about how you are taking care of yourself. What are you doing in this moment, or what have you been doing to really take care of and protect your health and well-being? And I will share some information with you, some insights and some tips, as well as some exercises as I was guided to do to help you more fully in this moment today, to begin today to more fully express your understanding and your capacity to experience not only good health, but optimal health and well-being, regardless of the situation, because that is our birthright and it's our possibility. So as we begin, I want you to think about, I use this picture because it's in a doctor's office. So just consider this, your doctor's office for your internal doctor, for your inner doctor, your inner wisdom. What is going on with you? What has happened? How are you doing? And I just want you to take a moment to tell yourself the truth. It doesn't have to be anything other than the truth, because of the truth, not where you want to be or where you want to tell others you are, but the truth is so vitally important, to be honest with ourselves. And as I'm speaking this to you, as I'm sharing this with you, one of my dear friends that some of the members of the Healing Circle knew, his name is Brother Brian Lacey, one of my friends from college, just made his transition about a month ago. And I often asked him, how was he doing? Because I knew he was under a tremendous amount of stress. And he said to me on many occasions that the healing circles had tremendously helped him to get through the stress that he was facing from multiple aspects of his life, from his business to things happening to his friends and business partners. But I didn't buy that fully, because I saw something in his face. I saw more stress, and I asked him, how was he doing? And he told me he was okay, but he wasn't, because he dropped dead about a month ago. And we all, those who were in his circle of close friends and family members, all knew that it was from the stress that he was facing, that he had not fully managed. So I asked that question of you with great concern, that you be honest with yourself, and that you begin to consider more fully and more deeply what you need to do to take care of yourself.
Dr. Elaine?
Yes, dear. Yes.
Just to let you know, so many people are sending their condolences to you right now.
Oh, thank you so much. I will download the chat to take a look at it. But thank you. And let me also share with you, unfortunately, in 2 weeks in the month of August, in a 2-week span, we lost 4 close friends and relatives within 2 weeks' time. And all of them were shocking departures. But this is the time that we're living in. And we've had many departures before, but it seems to me, and again, thank you all so much, because I feel your energy, that this is something we're facing. But the departures aren't the end. That's a beautiful thing to know, that we will meet again. Not only will we meet again, we will communicate as we allow ourselves that space to communicate with those on the other side of the ancestral realm. That is not a hard thing to do, and it seems to be getting easier and easier for us to do and to achieve. So I would ask you who hear me and who are willing to put into the chat, honestly, to write your statement of truth as to how you are doing, for yourself to see this in this moment, to tell the truth. I'll tell you how I'm doing. I'm doing okay. I'm not doing the best because I haven't had time to take my rest. So I'm going to tell the truth on myself. My plan is to take some time off next month and to really get the rest that I had planned to get in August, but was delayed due to the departures of my loved ones. But I need to take better care of myself as well. I do a pretty good job, but I haven't as I should over the last few weeks and few months because of life. And I'm just going to be very honest with you. So as I share these thoughts and these notions and these ideas, know that I'm the #1 student and I will be doing more to take care of myself, and I will be giving myself the same lecture that I gave to Brother Andrew. As I said, we are all in this together, and we are all here to uplift and support each other as you do so beautifully each and every week. So let's talk about as things fall apart. Now, I'm excited about this topic because the things that are falling apart are the things that are out of harmony with the universe, with the earth, with our experiences as human beings. And what I see is falling apart fundamentally is the disharmony that we have experienced, as I mentioned, during the 6,000-year cycle, some as Brother Das is very much aware, it's called a Kali Yuga, a dark age. It's part of this cosmic cycle of darkness. And Brother Wayne Chandler talks about the beginning of the Kali Yuga as the emergence of the people who have identified themselves as Aryans who spread across the world in the most violent ways and destructive ways, and have impacted the earth to this very day in terms of this particular disharmonious and violent behavior. So my goal today is to help you rise above what you're experiencing, specifically related to what's happened to us in the last 3 years since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm building upon the presentations that I've shared with you before. Each has been a chapter focusing on how to grow, how to become more fully aware of the truth of who and what you are, of your capacity to rise above any and everything that you've ever experienced. So let's talk about what's going on right now. I remember so clearly, December 31st, 2019. I was at home in that evening and I was watching television, and the news flash came on and said that there was a case, 7 cases of an unusual pneumonia had been reported out of Wuhan, China. And my inner voice said to me, there's going to be a global recession. I said, well, that's strange. What about a pandemic? That was not the message that I received. It was about what's going on right now in terms of the economy. And we'll get into that in just a moment. As all of you know, we've been through globally a very difficult time because of this pandemic, not only due to the infection itself, and we know there's a lot to discuss around that particular topic, but even of greater significance has been the impact that the lockdown, the impact of the economic shutdown, the impact of our babies not going to school, of our uncertainty in terms of our jobs, but even more importantly, the disruption of our blessed and meaningful and important relationships. There has been literally an assault on our minds as a global human family, the fear-mongering, the uncertainty, and all of these dynamics of toxicity. Thank you, brother. That has impacted us. And the challenge has been to understand what we're facing and to respond to it, not out of fear, but to respond to it out of the truth of who we are, which is the part of ourselves that allows us to transcend any and everything. And it's a part of ourselves that allowed our ancestors for the last 6,000 years in particular, but over the course of their existence, coming into the consciousness of their divinity thousands upon thousands of years ago, to live and to live fruitfully and vibrantly on this planet as the original human beings and as the keepers and the vessels of truth, of the truth of who and what we are. So briefly, we have previously explored several different aspects of our health and well-being, the truth about racism, the truth about having an amazing mind, body, and spirit, the truth about our capacity to heal our nation through love, and how to renew our health and well-being. So the most critical and important aspects of my presentations have been the consistent theme, as I have been guided to share with you, the truth of who you are, your infinite capacity for healing, not only healing, but for vibrant well-being, the debilitating lies-ness of quote unquote Western science, and addressing the critical health issues, racism, and how to protect ourselves from developing chronic diseases. This is a quote I want you to think about as the foundation for understanding more fully why your health is important, not only in terms of being healthy yourself and assisting others around you, but to fulfill the reason why you're here, why we are here. As ancestor Dr. Francis Press Welsing said, and I have to close this, to all of the African people who endured the horrors of captivity and enslavement, determined to survive, that we all can be here today to complete the work that the great creator of the universe gave us, the cosmic assignment to perform in our time, to bring justice and peace to this planet and universe. So I want you to think about this not as a burden. It's not a burden. It is a gift. It is an opportunity. It is a blessing to know that we have a responsibility, as many of you already are aware of this, as Brother Andrew and so many others fully express this in your life, in the course of your daily lives. This is just a reminder that we are here for such a time as this, in a way that is beyond our imagination. And much is hanging in the balance of this earth, and returning to the truth, returning to the divine harmony that our ancestors knew to be important, not only in terms of our health, but in terms of the health of this planet and the health of this cosmos. For such a time as this, we are here, not only to do this individually, but to fulfill this mission collectively as one global family. So with that big picture in mind, let's bring it back to the reality of what we have been living with, and why I asked the question of how are you doing? Because there's been so much literally thrown at you during these last almost 3 years. We have so much to deal with. But the good news is, if you can hear my voice, and when my phone goes off when I'm saying something, I know that's a sign from Spirit that this is important. The good news is you are still here, no matter what you've been through, no matter how bad you felt, no matter how frightened you have been, understandably, no matter what's going on, you still have the opportunity to rise above that which has encumbered and impaired you, that which has caused you terror and fear, that which has caused you anything that is not in harmony, that has not allowed you to feel in harmony with the truth of your divine essential nature, your divine faculties, your spiritual awareness and presence with your mind as well as with your body. Now, this is I'm trying to contain myself, but this is the utter ridiculousness of this time. Now, I'm sharing with you a title of an article from a medical journal that I receive. I am on their mailing list. But how can living be a terror? When I saw this, I screamed, like, are you kidding me? That's how I talk back to my computer when I see things that are utterly ridiculous. The terror of being alive. Well, yes, there is an attempt to make us feel terrified, and it's done a pretty good job. But we are here not to be terrified by being alive. We are here to be the expressions of life we were intended to be. So this is just another expression of all of the challenges that we face from the pandemic and taking care of our health, losing many loved ones and friends, the isolation and the lockdown and the stress of being separated. We're concerned about the future. The economy looks like it's globally about to hit a huge crash that's been predicted. And there's cultural uncertainties as well. I shared that. So this is just another example of all that we face in terms of our isolation, our disruption of our work life, our family life, our relationships, the intentional fear-mongering that regarding the injected and the non-injected, the literal destruction of relationships based on a person's health choice. If someone had told me December 31, 2019, that friendships, marriages, relationships, work relationships would have been disrupted so easily, I would have argued no. But I have witnessed this personally myself. I have had people in my life, very close friends, stop speaking to me based on their belief of how they thought of what they believed to be my opinion, without even asking me my opinion, based on an assumption as to what they thought I did and did not do with my own personal health choice. But what I did, which is what Great Spirit has taught me to do, is to bless them, to release them, and to love them. Because that's all I can do. I didn't even get angry because I understood that they had not learned how to love and how to be the truth of who they are, and they were dwelling in terrifying fear. So the question I also want to ask you is, how has the pandemic impacted you? Just think about that. How has it affected you? We've been moving so quickly through life, most of us haven't had time to even think about it. Have you been suffering? Have you been coping? Have you been managing? Did you thrive or did you transcend? And sometimes there may be a combination or a different expression of each and every one of these ways of being. Far too many of us have suffered, and far too many have coped, but not in a healthy way. A few have been able to manage and to stay safe in terms of their health and well-being. I mean, safe by not responding and becoming severely distressed, which the stress in and of itself will make you sick and put us at greater risk of not only developing COVID, but all of the chronic diseases we don't want to have. And some of us have had times of not only thriving, but a spiritual awakening. I will say for myself personally, the pandemic has been a blessing in terms of how it impacted my life. I was allowed the opportunity to stay at home and to work from home. And suddenly my health improved. I realized I was exposed to so much air pollution driving in and out of Chicago every day. I didn't realize how much it was impacting me. And the greatest blessing, quite honestly, well, I will say two great blessings. One blessing has been time for me for greater spiritual growth and exploration, quiet time. And the biggest blessing that I have experienced, quite honestly, has been the ability to connect with my brothers and sisters around the globe during this time through Zoom, and to find family. We didn't have to be in that physical place together, but to meet each other and to and to connect not only physically, but to connect spiritually through our hearts and through our intentions. It has been a transformational time for me, and it has made the loss of some of those relationships much easier to bear because of the new and beautiful ones I have found literally around the world, thanks to Brother Andrew and other brothers and sisters who are doing this good work. So I asked how you were doing, and now the question is not only how are you coping, but how did you cope? And if there's anything you would like to change in terms of how you coped during this very difficult and challenging time. And the other question is, how did the pandemic impact your family and friends? They too probably experienced similar challenges, as we all have in different ways. Now, I want to share this slide with you kind of briefly. It's one of the topics that we explore in some of our inner circle program in particular, but other ones as well, is our stages of identity healing. Brother Tarun so beautifully described and expressed the concept of emotional mastery, and this is a complementary aspect of emotional mastery. I see identity as having two major components. One is relational and one is responsive. And relational means, how do you identify yourself in terms of yourself, your family, your job, your country, your nation, the world as a human being, etc. But the other core aspect of our identity is how we respond to our environment and our experiences. And because we have been guided to perceive ourselves as victims, we respond on a level that makes us weak, that makes us stressed and terrified, etc. And not only do we experience this consciously, as I have shared with you before, but feeling like a victim causes severe stress responses that makes us sick. Basically, it increases our risk of developing everything that we don't want to experience. And as we come to a place of not wanting to be a victim, we become optimistic. We begin to see that we do have a choice and that we can change the way that we respond. And that optimism becomes the gateway for transformation, which is an active part of not only our healing physically, but our healing psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. Ultimately, we come into a sense of greater control, being empowered as how we respond to our life challenges. And when we reach the point of transcendence, meaning having a full awareness of the truth of who we are, we literally are the victors over anything that we face in this life. Now, I want to share this with you at this point, just as a quick reminder of the challenges and the lies and the impositions that were thrust upon us during this pandemic. Dr. Birx was one of the leading advisors in the United States regarding the health policies that were established during the pandemic. And she was working with Dr. Fauci, who you may have heard of. And recently she wrote a book admitting that they made up the two-week quarantine, that they made up the 6 feet regarding the social distancing and other things. She's publishing this in her book. I was shocked to see that she was so candid and honest about what actually happened. This is an article that was published in the Telegraph last year that talks about, to confirm what I share with you, how fear was used to control our behavior. I remember some of the wonderful presentations that Lady Maad has given about the Tavistock Institute and other avenues of manipulation that have been visited upon us as has occurred in the UK, the US, and around the world. And I just found this recently that we know it's not over. We have monkeypox that's been on the horizon, but it really hasn't caused the same type of upheaval and disruption that the pandemic, that the COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 pandemic did. This is this is a chart that explains some of the challenges that people and the responses, reactions that people have experienced as after or and during this pandemic, that it's literally causing PTSD. They're calling it post-pandemic stress disorder, but it's very much akin to a post-traumatic stress disorder, where we literally, we who have been impacted can't control our thinking because of our perceptions being a victim. And this syndrome, this disorder is causing even more distress. And this is a very, is this the one? Yes, this is a continuation of some of the research looking into this post-pandemic disorder as a part of the pandemic. We also have these other issues to deal with. The war in Ukraine, everybody's concerned that Russia's going to drop a nuclear bomb and that World War III may break out. The constant fear-mongering, increasing inflation, increasing racial tension. Many of our brothers and sisters over here hoped that once the former president left, that the racial tension would dissipate. It has not. It has continued, as far as I can tell. Maybe a little better, but not much in terms of what we're experiencing over here. And I'm seeing similarly in the UK and other parts of the world, as well as Canada and Australia. There's so much concern about what's called climate change. I call it climate poisoning, honestly. That's my sense of it, as well as I've mentioned before, the economic instability. And now we're facing these issues: fuel shortages, supply chain issues, food shortages, public health crises, as well as the void of our relationships haven't healed, and the damaged relationships, as I mentioned earlier. I just saw this article a few days ago, and I wanted to share with you what Macron is saying about what's to come in France, as well as has been predicted across Europe and in the United States and other parts of the Western world, as well as that we're facing a winter of challenges, fuel shortages, etc. They're talking about taking away the benefits and other issues. So we have so much to deal with, but we can deal with this. Okay, so let me talk about one of my favorite topics, which is crisis and opportunity. This is where the rubber meets the road for us, and the opportunity to understand more fully from a spiritual perspective that every crisis that we face is in fact an opportunity for growth, if we but have the proper mindset to understand from the perception and from the knowing of the truth of who we are. If we think of ourselves only as a mind, only as a personality, only as a body, we got problems. We have significant problems because we don't have the access, as Brother Tarun mentioned, to the faculties that we already have that allow us the capacity to transcend. The moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite the chemistry of your body. So if you change your perception, from the depths of our pain, we can rise, and we have risen. This is what our ancestors have always done. And I'm sure you've done it to a certain degree in your life. Stephen Biko, one of my heroes, has often said the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the minds of those whom they oppress. And that's just not speaking from a racial perspective. Yes, we know that to be very much true, but looking at the world as it is today, the oppressor visits this truth upon all of humanity. One of my other heroes, Brother Malidomo Patrice Somé, who is a brother from Burkina Faso, who has a wonderful, beautiful story of spiritual transformation and liberation. I encourage everyone to read his autobiography called, wait a minute, let me get it right, Of Water and the Spirit. It's a beautiful testimony to African strength, African divinity, and the ability to transcend colonialism and European oppression. This is what I want you to think about in the context of this moment, in the awareness of you're not feeling capable of perhaps even telling yourself that you failed when you really didn't. You did the best that you could with what you had to work with at the time, with the understanding that you had at the time. Only a people with a strong sense of destiny and purpose could have survived what Black people have experienced and still be striving and thriving today. The blues people have indeed become the miracle people. And I just want to take a moment to comment on what Brother Andrew shared with us, that the videotape about Ferguson and working together. This is what we've always done. This is our history from the Happy River and the cooperative economics that developed throughout Africa, across Africa historically and contemporarily, as free of colonialism and imposition. This is what our ancestors in the United States and the Caribbean, I know more about the United States because I live here, but there were thriving Black economic centers across the United States that began at the end of enslavement, that continued up until the 1950s when they were disrupted by national policies that created highways through Black communities, Black economic centers that were targeted. I saw this happen in my community. I knew about Black businesses as a child. We had a thriving community. There was a community in Detroit called Black Bottom, where there were hotels, restaurants, hospitals, doctors' offices, all kinds of businesses. We don't even know the history of what the Honorable Marcus Garvey did and his economic movement fully. We need to understand that we have always worked together. And when we don't work together, it's because the lies of separation and dehumanization were imposed upon us. You possess within your being the inherited power and the enduring strength to overcome anything and everything. This, as a children, I have said in a song, this is what we do, and this is how we do it. Now I'm sharing this picture. I don't know if anyone knows what it is, but this is a very interesting photograph. It is a picture of a finger taken with a very special photography called Kirlian photography, which captures the energy, the light that is present within all living things. We are beings of light. We are divine beings having a human experience. And it doesn't really matter in one regard as to what we believe, as long as we live the truth of what we believe, that allows us to become fuller expressions of who and what we are. So I want to bring you back to where we began with what ancestor Dr. Francis Welsing said, as we conclude this sharing, because I want you to remember, and I'll say it again, to all of the African people who endured the horrors of captivity and enslavement, determined to survive so that that means everybody who hears my voice, so that we can all be here today to complete our work that the great creator of the universe gave us, the cosmic assignment to perform in our time, to bring justice and peace to this planet and universe. And to me, that means to be the truth of who and what we are. Oops. Sorry for okay, so I want to stop here. And I want to share with you an exercise to help you more fully understand, not only understand, but to experience the truth of who you are. And why I'm sharing this photograph with you, this is a photograph of a storm, of a hurricane that was taken by NASA, which is our National Aeronautics and Space Administration, from a satellite. And if you look, you see this layer of clouds, but in the center, it almost looks like a black Oh, that's the eye of the storm. And at the eye of the storm, there is peace. So I invite you in this moment to take a few deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just focus on my voice to the best of your ability. You don't have to fight any thoughts. It's okay. Just focus on your breath. Slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you like to close your eyes, it's fine. If you like to keep your eyes focused on this photograph, it's fine. Do whatever is comfortable and right for you in this moment as your guidance explains and expresses to you what to do. Allow yourself to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the peace of this moment. I invite you to allow yourself more fully to feel the connection with each and every precious being present on this call, wherever they may be on this earth. We are connected through the heart to one another with unconditional and through unconditional divine supreme love. That is the very essence of who and what you are. It is the healing force that transforms and heals everything. It doesn't matter what you have experienced, because before you even had the experiences that you believe have burdened and defined you, long before these moments of confusion, chaos, and conflict, you were created as a unique, precious, essential, and blessed divine being with all of the faculties. You need to live a life of fullness, of empowerment, centered in the core of your being, which is peace. I invite you, my beloved sisters and brothers, in this moment to recall a moment of disharmony, whatever that may be. Allow your mind to bring it forth and see it in those clouds. See it swirling around you. You can, if you are called, allow yourself to feel that which felt so burdensome, so terrifying, so uncomfortable, so untrue, so much a dis-ease of the mind, because the truth is, you are peace, you are ease, you are designed and created to function in the peace that passes all understanding, because it is the core of who you are. So I invite you to allow your awareness to center in the eye of that storm and to feel peace in this very moment, and to let go, to release and remove the dysfunction, the terror, the fear, the disharmony that once plagued you. Let it go and let it be. And very slowly, very gently, I invite you to return to your normal awareness with that peace. Bring it forth with you. You've created a pathway to more fully experience the truth in the midst of any moment. And whenever you're ready, I invite you to open your awareness, not only your eyes, to this truth. So I invite you, my sisters and brothers, to remember to use this understanding as a foundational element to know and to become increasingly aware as you take care of yourself, that it's not just the actions, it's not just eating properly, it's not just exercising and meditating. These are all opportunities to more fully, and for such a time as this, as the earth is changing and transforming itself, and this opportunity for greater growth and transformation and the return to who and what we are, to more fully express itself as the original children of this earth, as the divine beings that we were created to be, to remember this truth. As you move through your day, as you move into places and spaces that would dehumanize you, that would tell you the lie. When you stand in your truth, you know the truth. Not only do you know and express the truth, you will know that adversity is a gift. I heard Brother Somé talk about this, that we in the West look at adversity and look at poverty in one way quite differently from those who know the truth in our motherland, because they know there's a greater truth and a greater spiritual reality beyond the adversity. One of my greatest experiences of adversity and transformation occurred a few years ago, related to a job issue. And I'll just make a very long story short. In my weakest moment, when I was walking into my office about to be interviewed and facing some false charges against me, I didn't want to do it because I was so offended that someone would dare to say I was trying to harm another human being. But I'm over that because I know the truth. But as I was walking into my office, I literally, in the parking lot, I literally felt the presence of thousands upon thousands of ancestors who said to me, you know the truth. You walk into that office with us. Their presence was so intense, I felt crowded, as if I was standing in a room with hundreds of people. And it changed my life. I no longer travel alone, especially when I remember that whatever I'm facing, I'm not facing it alone, that I'm facing it with my ancestors, and not only with the ancestors, but with the divine great being that is the creator of all life. And it's changed my life. And I know that's possible for each and every one who hears my voice, because for such a time as this, we are here to fulfill our destiny and our mission, and to uplift and to be a beacon to those around us. You cannot enslave a mind that knows itself, that values itself, that understands itself. These are the words of Sister Wangari Maathai, who was a sister from Kenya, who won the Nobel Prize. She's planted thousands upon, I think millions really, of trees to help recover the damage and heal the damage, the environmental damage that had been visited upon the sacred lands of Kenya. So I leave you with this picture, with this image that represents the sacred truth that our ancestors received intuitively through their willingness and their desire to know who they really were. We do this for our children and for our future. And I will close with, up, you mighty race. You are, and I should have written hero, you are a hero, which is the source of the ancient, it's a part of the ancient myth of Kemet, but I meant to say hero, but you are a hero as well, who is the one who overcomes all challenges. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I can't speak for anybody else who's a panelist who can turn their cameras on, etc. If I could stand, you know I would, dear sister. And everyone who knows me knows I'm a crier. And I'm trying my best not to cry because I don't want to. I'm going to try and be strong, but let me tell you something, because we have a lot of new comers on the show tonight. If you didn't know of our dear sister beforehand, make it your business to follow what she does, because she speaks not only from the heart but also from the head. Her professional credentials are insane, but let me tell you something, better than that is her heart and spirit. And everything that you shared, dear sister, not only touched me, but it has touched me and stayed within my spirit. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Yes.
Oh dear. Yes, yes. Someone else is talking about crying. It was a powerful session that we have enjoyed tonight, and I cannot thank you enough. I don't know if Brother Andrew, Sister Jarita, Brother Jamie want to share, but for me, I do believe that everyone on the platform has been blessed, and that there is a sense of peace and calm that we have all felt, even though this is a Zoom. And that's the beautiful thing. So many people say, oh, you can't convey emotion through Zoom. You can, when you're coming from a place of integrity and authenticity.
I really do think, I apologize, I got so much going on behind the scenes, okay, and believe it or not, I could not get onto Zoom. Even though I've been on it, I was thinking, how am I getting on? So it took me all this time just to go, Sister Dr. Elaine, Sister Samira has just stated it, beloved, part excellent, and in the time frame that you've done it in as well. As you were speaking, sister, I was reading the comments. You really have touched a lot of people. The questions that you were asking were so on point that if I will send you the archive chat after the show, sister, because the answers, and I love the community because they were giving you some honest answers, beloved, and they were going into, depth in terms of like, how are they dealing with the this time period? How are they looking after their health and whatever? Okay, I don't know whether Brother Jamie or Jarita or Sister Samira could read out some of those comments, but the way they answered your questions, I thought, sister, you've touched the hearts of our people. That was phenomenal. And as you was doing the course, as you was doing your presentation, sister, I was kicking myself. After this show would be the perfect time to do that course, because it was so on time and so perfect. Brothers and sisters, please tell the sister I'm not lying to her, man. You know what I'm saying to the sister is absolutely true. If you look at some of the comments, some of you have made some of the come on, man. If it's Jane, if you could, I don't know if you read that, some of the comments, or some of the comments.
I got one from Sister Shirley Powell, says this was amazing and would love to connect as a fellow professional, Dr. Elaine. So there you go.
I would too. Thank you. Would too. Please
Sister,
email. You see my email address. Please do so, Sister Shirley. Thank you.
Sister Donna Barrett says, I feel it so strong. My whole room, the whole home is filled with this peaceful energy. This is love.
Mm.
Come on, sister,
And
man.
Sister Kaz Ryder has said, big up Queen Dr. Elaine. That's why we love you. We always feel good during and after your presence. We are always truly honored to have you. One love, I see you, Sani Banani, and a million
Thank
ones.
you. Thank you.
Sister
My
Kaz,
honor.
Sister Kaz Ryder has stated, big up Queen Dr. Elaine. That's why we love you. We always feel good during and after your presence. We are always truly honored to have you. You're loved. I see you, Sani Banani too. I mean, it goes on and on, sister. So it's not me just trying to make you feel good and
you.
try to massage your ego, sister. You have really, really, really hit home tonight, sister. And just for that alone, I pray that the Most High will always and continually bless you just for what you've done tonight. Forget about what you've done throughout the whole of your life now. That's irrelevant now. Just what you've done tonight, sister. May the Most High continue to love you, cherish you, and protect you. That was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
It's my pleasure. It is, and it reflects what the divine shared with me and the receptivity of those who are on the platform to receive it.
Brothers and sisters, you know, as you know, we're coming towards the second half of the show, but you know, this has been such an emotional night for me personally, listening to the doctor, and I can see by the response, brothers and sisters. I do this very, very, very rarely. Brothers and sisters, if there's any one of you that like to say a few words to the doctor in Chicago after that amazing, amazing presentation, could you just raise your hand? Can you raise your hand? Make it very brief. Make it very brief. But I think that the sister, if she's touched you and you like to say anything to her or ask her a question, please, could you raise your hand, and we'll try and do our best to bring you in. Sister Shirley Powell, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, I'm unmuted.
Yes,
brother.
what would you like to
Brother
say?
Andrew, my king, God bless you, sir.
God bless you, sister.
Dr. Elaine, I'm a nurse of 38 years, and I've had I feel like I've been to hell and back this last 14 months. And having been diagnosed with bowel cancer and then having it removed, and thank God I'm now cancer free. But listening to you, and when you was talking about letting it go, I felt quite emotional to kind of let everything go, because I'm also going through an allegation at work myself, so I could relate to your personal story. But I just want to say that you really helped me, and I was glad that I came on the platform tonight and to hear you and to listen to you. And what I loved about what you said was, how are you coping? How often do people ask us, how are we coping? You always hear, how are you? But you never hear, how are you coping? And that really touched me. So thank you. I love you. And I will be emailing you. God bless you. Love you, my sister.
Well, thank you so much, Sister Shirley. Thank you for your very kind words. Everything that I do, I'm guided to do it. It's not my intelligence, it's my willingness to listen. And one of the things I will say that I didn't include that I intended to, so thank you for triggering this memory, this recollection. It is so important for all of us to listen to our inner guidance now more than ever.
Definitely.
Have to pay attention, because our inner intelligence is wisdom. It knows what we need. And we have been convinced to listen to the external world. That's our entrapment.
Yes.
I also know, especially during this time, as this earth is transforming, one decision can mean the difference between leaving and staying here, or leaving prematurely. So it is vital to listen to our inner guidance. I'll give you one example myself. I was supposed to have been in New York City on 9/11 to pick up my godmother and bring her back to visit with me. And my inner guidance told me, don't go, because I was tired. And I listened, Brother Andrew, and I was told, you need to stay home and rest. And I did. And I was also told, don't tell her you're not coming, because she'll talk you into coming. And she would have. And I didn't. I did not honor that. And I felt really bad, but I honored that until I saw those planes hit that morning. And I knew that was why I wasn't supposed to have been in New York.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Spirit
Amazing.
protects us at all times if we but listen.
Listen.
True.
Listen.
Wow.
And
Sister
it is
Miriam
so
Williams.
important.
Sorry, Sister Miriam Williams.
Oh, yes. Thank you. It's always wonderful listening to an elder mother. You're a real Mother Earth.
Yes.
And you have a special quality, you know, that is so welcoming and warming. And even when you speak, you know, you have a way of just delivering the truth in such a nurturing way, as a mother would, as your grandmother would, as your auntie would, you know? And I, you know, really enjoy hearing and learning from you. You know, you said something today, live the truth of what you believe, you know? And sometimes, you know, we can say things to ourselves and it sounds so simple, but yet the simple is so hard to achieve at times because of external things that are going on. But I just really wanted to say, I really do appreciate you, you know, in the same way that I also appreciate the platform that Brother Andrew has here, that's bringing so many ones together and so much learning. But, you know, with you, I just really love listening to you, because you have a very calming and nurturing mother.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you're an elder queen, you know, who's to be adored. And loved and appreciated.
Yes, Miriam.
Give thanks.
Give thanks. Give thanks, sister. Give thanks, sister.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Miriam. That was so beautiful. I do. Let me just say this briefly, Brother Andrew. I just want to say this because we use the term so beautifully on this platform when we honor each other by calling our brother King and our sisters Queen. One of the things that I've learned in the last year, which has really helped me to understand royalty, is that in Kemet, the term everyone who was seeking their divinity, seeking to understand, was considered a royal. So they were part of the royal family, not what we see contemporarily, and I'm going to leave it at that. But royalty was the path to divinity.
Beautiful. Beautiful, sister. Oh God, sister, you're dropping bombs tonight. Love this. Sister Donna Barrett. Oh no, did Donna Barrett speak already?
No, I don't think so.
Sister Donna.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, my queen.
I'd just like to say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Yay.
Sister Miriam, well, I'm out of words. And Dr. Elaine, I just like to say, I love you, I love you, I love you. My home, it's just filled with this just peace and love. It's tinkling everywhere. I'm out of words. I just want to say I love you.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I love you too, Sister Donna. Thank you so much.
Brother Winston, King Winston.
Oh, tap, wonderful family.
Yeah, my big brother.
Oh, you know, I just want to reiterate what I put in the chat. Yeah, it's I'm just going to read it out. I'm providing a testimony because I'm on all the courses, workshops, circles that Dr. Elaine has been provided in this world.
Teach.
So I'm just going to read out what I wrote. As a member of Dr. Elaine's Healing Circle, Inner Circle, and Spiritually Empowered Coaching Training, my experience has been phenomenal and transformational healing process. The circle and services feel to me sacred and grounded in infinite love. I am a witness to other circle members' transformation in weeks. Circle members wholeheartedly validate and support each other's presence, their experience, their pain, their joys, and transformations. I feel so honored to be part of these sacred circles and services that are grounded in a space of genuine love. Dr. Elaine provides us with spiritually rich resources that are truly empowering, and her support resonates deeply in our souls. I feel I highly recommend all her empowering services, and I'm sure all the other group members would also, circle members would also say that. And what's also really funny was that I've also put what Dr. Elaine said about Kemet and royalty.
Wow.
I've said here, I remember Dr. Elaine telling me that Dr. Muato Ashby, expert in Kemetic culture, said that the term royalty was assigned to anyone that was on their spiritual journey. And I've said, we are the real royal family, each one of us.
Yes.
Say that again.
we are the real royal family, each and every one of us. Many brothers and sisters around the world, like Dr. Elaine, Brother Andrew, are doing phenomenal work to raise our vibration and raise the vibration of our people so we can stand and function in our glorious divine selves.
Woo!
So I feel honored to be on Hidden Truth family, spiritual growth journey. Peace and blessings.
Oh, Winston,
thank you, Winston.
What would you like
That's
to say?
so beautiful.
What would you like to say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know how much I love you.
I love you too.
It's a unique brother, unique. Very last brother, Professor Earl Taylor. Now this brother is a God, sister. He's an international brother, Jamaican ambassador to Namibia. Professor Earl, last words to you, my brother. If you can unmute yourself, King. Professor Earl.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doctor. I picked up a number of things, and I want to share them. I heard not only in your presentation, but in your voice, a sobering impact. And it occurred to me that we have a time, when things fall apart, we need to take stock. And what has happened as I listened to you is that for us to develop the coping skill, we need extra strength. That strength doesn't necessarily reside in science. And I want to say that medical, and I'm glad that you are medical, because I am challenging the medical science. They have lost grip of what is necessary, particularly during this reset time. The science has been taken over, it has been corrupted. And I question, whose science are we pushing? And the science that we are hearing, it keeps changing.
Yes.
Now, science is nothing more than studying nature. Nature is science. Nature is science. And when we study science, we are trying to understand nature. We're trying to understand the environment. We're trying to understand the human body, how it is constructed. And then we come and we use the pretense that is our science. It's not our science. We are trying to understand the science. Science is nature. And so we study the science. So we are students of science. But the medical practitioner has allowed science to be captured by the commercial, the merchants. And you have let go. We have lost voice. And so in the coping, we need to get back to reset ourselves, to reset how we understand nature, how we understand medicine. It's not just pushing this drug and this drug, because that is not science.
True words.
That's synthetic in most cases to multiply money. So I appreciate the reflection and the inflection. And that means that we have to connect to a higher source of knowledge and to understand what we have gone through, why we are falling apart, why the center is not able to hold us. So I very much appreciate the approach of taking as a medic and as somebody who understands the cosmic influences in our lives and the extraordinary connection that we need to recognize and to use it to drive our way forward as we recover from this pandemic or whatever it might be called, to reset ourselves and to get back on track and in connection with real science. So thank you very much, Dr. Elaine.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Professor Earl. Sister Elaine, please, your response, sis.
Thank you, Brother Andrew. And thank you, Professor Earl, for your comments about science. I will say this, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And also the notion that science, as we know it in the Western Indo-European approach, which is totally spiritually devoid, is not science. And I talked about this in one of my preceding presentations on divine epigenetics, and we reviewed the role that science has played in oppression and science has played in promoting and supporting the untruths and how it has been used. Western science has been always subject to the fundamental belief that is not connected to spirituality and is connected to a sense of a belief in patriarchy as well as a belief in dominance and violence, etc. So it has never been pure science in the sense that it has portrayed itself to be. And it has always been subjected to manipulation. And we've just seen a greater experience of that during these last few years. I'll put it like that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Dr. Elaine, you've heard the words yourself. Okay, this is not Brother Andrew's words. You spoke directly to the community. And we just can't thank you enough, sister. I pray that you get a chance to look through the notes, the archives.
I will.
And hopefully at the end, we give you the feedback from our survey. But once again, sister, I can't emphasize how brilliant you was today. Absolutely brilliant. Brothers and sisters, please, this is Dr. Elaine on the Hidden Truth panel.
We're just out in sunny Portugal, I'm wanting to say, Gwan Papa G.